Loud. All right, we are not in the Facebook group yet, but we will be in just a sec.
Okay.
Going live in 3, 2. Okay, awesome. Hello, happy Sunday, everyone. I am so excited to get started today with our next guest on the interview series for Introverts and Co. So welcome, Christine. It's been a hot minute since I've done an interview, so I hope you'll bear with me because I might be a little bit rusty.
It's all good.
But I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm so excited that we were able to find a topic that lights us both up. And just based on our conversations offline, like just jumping into this chat, I'm so excited for everybody that gets to participate in today's chat. So why don't you, before we even get started, before we hop into this interview, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What are you excited about? All the things.
All the things. So, hi everyone. I'm Christine Parker. I am in Kitchener, Ontario. I'm still about an hour west of Toronto, and I've been a massage therapist for just over 2 decades now. And about half of that ago, so about 12 years ago, I started doing more energy work, along with bioenergetics and quantum physics, and starting to study and learn about that. And more recently, I have been called to do even more of that. And again, as a massage therapist for 22 years, my body's starting to be like, okay, what's next? So I've actually, even a while ago, I wanted to do something that was less strenuous on my body. And I know that I can do this energy healing and bioenergetics till I'm like well into my 90s and stuff. So I gravitated towards it. It has been a huge pivotal moment with my practices and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll talk about a little bit more about that today. But I'm an athlete. I still play competitive field hockey. I do photography on the side sometimes, not as much anymore since the world kind of shut down, because I used to photograph sports and stuff. But yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I would love to just kind of dive right into it and talk a little bit today, since the topic of the day is not letting people steal your energy. You mentioned that things are shifting a little bit for you in your business and just kind of how you're approaching things. So I'm curious, do you feel like that is changing because what you were doing before, maybe people were stealing your energy a little bit, like maybe you weren't being 100% fully Christine?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so tell us about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. Because literally today, I was just thinking about these all over this past weekend. So as I said, massage therapist for like 22 years, doing more bioenergetics. And I first thought that my niche market, so to speak, would be like the people who already know about breath work. They know about some energy stuff. They do yoga. They're into healing. Like they're already in that alternative healthcare type setting. And then I was also like, yeah, but I want to work with athletes. And everybody's like, athletes aren't into that. And I'm like, okay, but I'm an athlete and I'm into that. So there's
what am I, top liver? Yeah.
Right. I'm like, there's got to be more of us. And then I started actually Googling some stuff, and I'm like, I found this book called The Mindful Athlete. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he coached, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose it. But he coached several like basketball people. Kobe Bryant, he was like a huge advocate of this person. And there's just all these other athletes that it's like, and athletes know like training your body is just as important as training your mind.
Yeah.
So when your mind's not in it, when your mind's stressed, the body follows. So that's what I'm trying to advocate for all my people, all my clients, everyone, is that you got to start training this so that the rest follows.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like, so many, even just beyond athletes, like I was just at the gym earlier, like right before we got on this call, and I lately, like the thing that I've been working on is I've been going much lighter with my weights. And I've just been focusing on like the movement, like the actual movement. And it's really all in the mind. Like, even though I'm doing much lighter weights and lower reps, I'm going so slow and so steady, and I can feel it in my muscles. And so, like before, what I was doing was I was just like, moving the weights, like lifting, like that's not effective. So it really does all start in the mind. Um,
Yeah.
but so I think that's so interesting that you mentioned that, people were telling you, oh, like athletes don't care about that. So did you believe that for a while?
Yes. I made up a whole like landing page on it.
I
And I was just
love
like,
that.
but after a while, I was like, I felt like, okay, if I'm talking to athletes, I have to be this person. And if I'm talking to, the more spiritual yogi people, I have to be this person. I'm like, that's going to be exhausting because I'm only putting part of me into both of those categories. And I'm like, or I could just be me and talk to everybody. Like, I mean, and there's going to be some athletes that are be like, you're completely woo woo. And I'm like, I feel like I'm sometimes do woo woo stuff. Right. And then there's going to be, some of the woo woo people, with the more spiritual people that are like, she's too aggressive or she's too, competitive for me or whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to be for everybody. And that's completely fine. But I know there's, yeah. So, and just acknowledging that and just making that decision, I feel lighter and I feel more excited about my
I
business.
love
I'm just
that
like,
for
I feel,
you.
yeah, like I'm just saying this literally just happened this weekend. So it was perfect timing for our chat.
That's so amazing. So, like, tell me a little bit about like how, yeah, I want to hear all about how, you felt like your energy was being drained by splitting it between these two different personalities or two different versions of yourself. Like, how can people notice that that's happening? Because that's a pretty freaking hard thing to pinpoint. Like so many of us are like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, and we tend to think that like maybe it's because we've got too much on our to-do list, or we've got we're saying yes to too many things. Like those are kind of the easier things to pinpoint. But
Yeah.
to pinpoint something like, wow, I'm giving my energy to two different personas, like what was that process like of getting to clarity on that?
I was also I was giving my energy to something that wasn't aligned with who I am.
Right,
Right.
right,
So everything's made of energy and we're compressed energy. And what happens is, when you have beliefs or you have thoughts that aren't true to who you actually are, it puts a wobble in your energy field and you start seeing the world through these like filters, right? The filter of athletes don't want to be mindful, or the filter of, yogi people don't want the competitive side, or like the filter, like, athletes don't want to do breath work or whatever the thing is. It's like when you start to believe that stuff, you start making decisions based on that belief. And
right,
that, right. So, but it's like, so when you take a look back and like, and I talk about this in some of my programs, like when you actually take a look back and you think about what your beliefs actually are, do your beliefs align with what you like, who you are, what you want in life, what
right,
you want to accomplish, your goals, like all of that. It's like who, like, but it's when you're in your head, it's hard to come back in the body and feel it, because we can think all
right,
we want, right? When you're thinking too much, you're not in your body, your brain's trying to think the process through. Whereas if you actually sit and do a little bit of breath work or meditation and just ask, is this aligned? Do I believe this? And
right.
actually sit and feel in your body will tell you. Your body.
It's so amazing. It truly is. And like, I'm the queen of overthinking. I know you know that. I
I'm
used to
there
be
with you
anyway.
sometimes. I'm not perfect either.
Yeah, and learning how to just go into my body, like when people would tell me that, like even you or Steph or like Malia or any of the people like in our other communities would say, just get into your body and be like, what did you smoke? Like,
But
what are
people
you
don't know what that
talking about?
means sometimes.
Right. So what does that mean? What does that mean, go into your body? How does one do that if you're so used to just living in your head.
So one of the examples I can give, I'm sure we've all watched movies. At one point or another, you've all watched a movie, and sometimes you are so like engrossed in that movie that's like you feel every emotion that character is feeling,
Yeah.
right? Like
100%.
you're not in your body. You're so like you're so in that movie. You're in that moment, and like then someone walks in the door. It's like, oh, when did you get here, right? Because your brain is so focused on that something else. So there's a simple exercise that people can do if they just want to like you just sit and just start focusing on your breath. You don't have to change your breath, just like notice your breath and slow it down maybe a little bit. So belly breath if you can. So you inhale and then exhale out of the, exhale out.
I'm doing it with you right now.
And then inhale into the belly, nice deep belly breath. And then exhale out.
Amazing.
Right. If people want, they can close the eyes. And again, just start focusing on that, on the breath.
Right.
And then then that's when you're focusing on your breath, you're more in your body, right? You're focusing on something internal. And then the next step would be to look at something in the room that's maybe like 5 feet away. So it could be your laptop, it could be a plant, it could be a desk, a book, whatever, right? And just put your attention on that other thing and really like throw all your focus on it.
Oh, I love that. I'm looking at a water bottle right now.
And it could, right? Yeah. Just throw all your focus, all your attention on that water bottle. And then notice how that feels. And then I want you to bring your attention back to you, back on your body. And then it's, now this is where it gets a little woo-woo, but like feel as if you're looking out through behind your eyes. Like you're the person behind your eyes looking out. Does that make sense? Wow. Right. So sometimes, right. So your peripheral vision might get a little bit bigger. You might be able to see the end of your nose, but you're home, like you're in your body.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got the chills. Wow.
Right. So this is great. So it's like, if you have I would start practicing with like inanimate objects like you just did. But now imagine you walk into like an office space and there's a coworker that you don't like. Or you go to family, right? Or you go to a family reunion and it's like, there's a cousin or a mother-in-law or aunt or whatever. Or there's a person that you don't like, right? So instead of going in and being like, oh, I don't like them. And you feel all gross. Like what do you feel like?
Right. You've got that like clenched, like, oh,
right.
Yeah.
If you just bring the attention back to yourself, be the one and just bring it back home, do like you're breathing anyway. No one's going to notice if it's like, focus breathing, just start doing some belly breaths and come back in your own body. You won't be throwing your energy towards them.
I love that. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for that little golden nugget.
Of course. It's so practice for sure. I need to practice that one more. So I'm glad I brought it up today.
Yeah. So sometimes like I find that we say the things that we need to hear the most, right? So I love that you said that. And even though like I'm familiar with, alternative healing practices like breath work, just kind of having you remind me to do that is like, I'm going to be doing that all week and I'm going to be texting you all week. Like, oh my God, I just took a deep breath and it felt so good.
Awesome. And it's simple, right? Like it's not hard to do. It's simple to do. It might take 5 minutes for stuff like that or any other type of breath work, like the little things like that. You can spend 5 minutes doing it. You can spend 25 minutes doing it. It's just,
It's incredible. And I kind of want to segue a little bit here because I love this conversation. So I am somebody who, until about a year ago, I thought like all the non-medicine options to like get out of my head and like create a calm, neutral headspace. Like I was like, that's for the woo-woo people. Like, that's not for people like me. Like I'm this like I work in the metal industry and I'm really smart and like that shit's just not for me. Whatever.
Yep.
And then I embraced it. And my God, I have gotten out of my head. I've learned to stop overthinking. I've learned to connect with like my heart and soul. And like I've gone from being a freaking robot to like I feel like even now like this conversation is so chill. It's like so flowy, you know. A year ago, I would have like 15 questions prepared, and if we went off script, I would be so stressed, so overwhelmed.
Like, oh no, you
But
skipped a question.
yeah, exactly. And so my point is, up until a year ago, I did not know about stuff like breathwork, didn't know about stuff like microdosing or etc. But um, tell me one thing other than that breath thing that we just talked about. What is something that somebody who's not into the woo woo can do right now that will definitely help them. We're not trying to sell you guys on the woo woo stuff. Like that's not the purpose of this question. The purpose is you don't have to be a woo woo kind of person for this stuff that we're talking about to work. And I would love to invite you to share like one thing that people can do if that's just not their vibe.
That's not like if breath work isn't there, like if they don't want to do breath
Or
work.
like no, like if like so for me, I would just like, oh, like the only thing that could possibly help me is to just keep powering through and to keep like checking off things on my list and just try to think through it. Like I want to show people that like there's another way, even if you're not a super woo-woo person.
Yeah. I mean, I hopefully breath work. So, I mean, I can explain it a little bit, but like there's like science.
Yeah.
So there's your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest, digest, healing mode. And then there's your sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, run from a bear type stuff. When you breathe in your upper lungs and just in your chest, that's the sympathetic. That's the like running, like even running track or playing in like sports games and things like that, or like running from, someone that's chasing you. When you drop into the lower belly, that's your parasympathetic nervous system. It's going to calm you down. It's going to increase focus. Navy SEALs do it if that makes people feel any cooler. I'm
I
like,
love that.
Navy SEAls are not woo-woo. They are hardcore, tough as nails dudes. So when I get some people that are like, I don't know about that, I'm like, you want to be a Navy SEAL? But there's
what's more badass than that? Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't get more badass than that. But there's 4 square breathing, right? So you inhale for 4 seconds, hold breath for 4 seconds, exhale slow for 4 seconds, and then hold your breath out for 4 seconds. That's one of the simplest things that'll just, and again, it gets you into your body, it calms you down. You are focusing on something, but I notice when I do that, either if I'm going into like a stressful meeting or anything like that, or family, whatever, it calms you down and it gets you more in your body.
I love that. Yeah, that's super helpful. And I think that more of us really, this is just a great reminder to just slow down, take a deep breath. Like literally whatever you're doing, whatever feels stressful right now, whatever person is stressing you out, whatever thing is giving you anxiety, I really think that taking a second to breathe deeply and inhale, exhale, and get into your body, like you can't lose. Slowing down is not going to it's not going to stop you from doing whatever it is you're doing. If anything, it's going to allow you to do that thing a lot more effectively.
100%. And I've had clients who I've had a couple of clients with some severe anxiety, and I myself, I was at a family event and I was like totally in my head. It's like angry when I got home, and then I got home and I'm like, I didn't do any of the breath work that I tell my clients to do. So I'm not perfect either. But what happens is when you practice these things on a more regular basis, your stress line base or your stress level baseline will drop. So if you're running around and you're like, if right now you're like, your baseline is a 5 out of 10, and all of a sudden something hits and it's a 3 of a stress level, you're now at an 8. right? Whereas if
Wow.
you just take the time to do things on a regular basis to help calm your nervous system down and regulate your nervous system, you might be now running at a 3. Right.
Right.
Whereas if like where you might be running at a 2. And if a level 3 comes and hits you, now it's only at a 5 or a 6. It's not at an 8. So
Right.
things like breath work, even just things like going for a walk in nature, getting out in the
Right.
sun, making sure, I mean, there's all the, there's all the things like making sure you're eating properly. Like, and I notice myself, I feel better when I eat better food and drink your
Absolutely.
water, right? And again, get in the sun, do a little bit of exercise. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just a little bit of exercise. So, I mean, there's the woo-woo stuff
Right.
and there's the just, eat healthy food
Right.
and drink your water.
Yeah, and I love that you said that because on Friday, I think it was Friday, maybe it was Thursday, I was in a mood. Like do not come anywhere near me because I will bite your face off mood. And it was so weird because I don't get into those moods anymore. Like it's not how I used to get in those moods 24/7. But all I did to get out of that mood was I shut my laptop. I took a hot shower, like, and I took my sweet time. And then I just drank a ton of water. And by the time I was done, like hydrating my body and taking like a 10-15 minute shower to just calm my nerves, I was no longer ready to kill someone.
Awesome.
Literally,
Yep.
all I had to do was lean into the most simple thing in the world, which is water. And suddenly I was able to lift my mood. So like being able to recognize like when you're triggered, I think, and when you're feeling like your claws are out. And just leaning into something as simple as eating something really healthy and wholesome or drinking water or getting outside, like just get out of your head for a second and take a deep breath, and you're going to be able to handle whatever situation's in front of you 10 times better, I think.
Yeah. And I have some people that I'm like, go do yoga. Like, I don't like yoga. Then go do a Muay Thai kickboxing class.
Right.
Right. So it could be
Right.
completely, it's different for everybody, but I think most people know what helps them get out of their head.
Right.
And that's the thing, like there are physical things that will help you get out of your head and into your body. But when you do the breath
Mhm.
work, and there's other breath works and things like that that will help align your chakras as well. But doing the physical activity will at least disperse the energy. So it's not as like thick and it's not as like
Right.
concentrated in one area, right? But when you start doing that breath work, it'll help move that stuck energy throughout your body.
Right. Right. Oh, and I love that you said that. Like, you'll be like, just by physically moving, you're kind of able to disperse that energy a little bit. So that's probably why, when we go for walks and we start moving our bodies, it really helps to lift that pressure. And even just a great workout at the gym. Like, I know if I go into a workout and I'm really pissed off, by the time the workout's over, that energy, I'm gonna be a lot less angry.
Yeah, there is. And I recently, I think 5 or 6 years ago, it really started to stick into me with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
We were on a call a couple of weeks ago, and the facilitator was like, yeah, because I was like, oh, I just go for a run, I feel so much better. She's like, you feel much better. She's like, it disperses your energy, but it doesn't actually resolve all of it. It's still there.
Right.
It's just dispersed, which is why we feel better. So there is an
Right.
energetic component to it, which is,
Mm-hmm.
again, there's something called central channel breathing. The bioenergetic stuff that I do helps move energy. Other things like Reiki, that type of thing, like all those like types of energy healing, they actually
Right.
help resolve the energy. Actually, but something that people can do at home.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like, there's a breath called central channel breathing where you start breathing from the top of your head into your belly and then out through the
Mm-hmm.
pelvic floor and into the earth.
Okay.
That breath work. But anytime you feel like an icky spot or a heavier spot anywhere in your body, if you can
Mm-hmm.
cultivate like love or joy and like feed that part of the body with it, it will help
Ooh.
disperse it. Love is one of the highest vibrational frequencies, and it will dissolve all other frequency, like all the other lower frequencies below it. So
I love that.
yeah, that's a good one to start. You do essential channel breath, you bring in loving presence, and it's just like, and if you can't do love, it's like, because sometimes when you're super, super angry, you can't cultivate that love, right? So it's like gratitude, joy, peace, anything higher than the feeling that you're feeling at that time, bring that in, and that will help to disperse that energy, because we get stuck in our head because we're not in our body.
Right. Yeah. That's such a great point. Can we practice really quick? I want to kind of show people.
Yeah, for sure. So again, sit back, shoulders back and down. So again, you can start from the crown of your head, or you can like a couple inches above your head. You're gonna, there's a central channel that runs like an elevator shaft throughout your entire body. So think of it like, it's basically like kind of like right in front of your spine. So you're going to breathe in from the top of your head, and it's like you're breathing in through the center of your head, center of your throat, in through the center of your chest and into your belly. So when you breathe in, you're just going to breathe in into that belly. You're going to hold it there for a second or two. And then you're going to exhale out through your pelvic floor and out the bottom of your feet, like a couple inches below your feet.
That's so cool.
And then inhale in from the bottom of your feet up through the pelvic floor into the belly. Hold it there for a second or two, and then exhale out straight out the top of your head. And that helps when you start doing that on a regular basis as well. All the chakra systems that are in those areas, it helps compress and it helps align them and it helps mesh them together so that they're talking to each other as well. And if you want to go a little bit more woo-woo, then inhale from Mother Earth up through the earth into the belly, and then exhale out, right? Exhale out to the sky above, or to a couple other chakras. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I can't believe it's already 5:30. Like, that's crazy. That flew by. So I would love to hear, before we kind of wrap up and have you tell people how they can work with you. We kind of talked about a couple of these things today. But what can somebody do, like, to coach themselves in the moment when somebody's draining their energy, and when somebody's just like just making them so angry that they can't like even think straight? Like, how can you regain your composure and protect your energy in that moment when you're out and about?
Breathe.
Breathe. I love it.
Honestly, that's like, it's breathe and notice in your body where you feel it. Like when someone angers you, you're going to notice whether you feel it in your throat or your chest, your belly. Some of my clients feel it in their low back. Like, start to notice in your body where you're feeling these things.
Love it.
And then sometimes you can do something in that moment. If you can, start doing that central channel breath. And if, say, you're feeling it in your chest, then you central channel breathe into your chest and make the chest the exchange spot, and then exhale from your chest all the way out through the belly and into the earth.
Okay. And then in your chest, you exchange love with that anger that you're feeling.
Yeah. So then if it's the chest, so then you inhale in from the chest, or inhale from the earth into the chest, and just and you want to squeeze it back a little bit, just to really get your conscious brain there. And if you can, bring in some love to whatever part of that area in your body is. And it's like, if you can't bring in love, then just thank it, right? Like, thank your chest for, breathing and all or just, gratitude for your body, and then exhale out. Through the central channel.
And you know what, guys? Even if the person looks at you like you're crazy for taking a deep breath and pausing, isn't that so much better than lashing out at them? Think about it that way.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you can't lose.
No. I think if we all just took an extra, there's been times where I've seen something on social media and I'm like,
right.
Don't just pause. And you can also just pause and be like, is this in alignment with who I want to be? Right.
And if you can't say yeah, then stop.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
And same thing with
That's
the,
awesome.
just a quick second on that. If you can't do the breathing or the breath work in that moment, maybe it's later that evening or the next day, go back and think about, okay, when that person was irritating me yesterday, I noticed that I felt it in my chest. So now I'm going to do that breath work and I'm going to breathe into my chest. So you can do it
Right.
at a later moment as well.
Right. And you can also always say to the other person, like, hey, like, I'm feeling a little bit like worked up right now. Like, can I just take a deep breath? Like, I need some air, or like, if that's not possible, just give me like 30 seconds to regain my composure. And 9 times out of 10, that person on the other side of you is going to appreciate that you recognized that, like, that you were feeling a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So, I I love this. This was such a powerful interview, and I'm so glad that we did this. It wasn't even really an interview; it was more of a
No, it's
chat.
just us chatting.
It's a casual chat.
Casual
Um,
chat.
so I love your work. I know that you're kind of shifting more into the online space a little bit. So where can people find you? Like, how can people work with you if they want to explore this breath work and all the stuff that you do?
So I do a lot of breath work, but there's another technique called bioenergetic synchronization technique. That's the energy
Mhm.
that I work. That's the energy technique that I work with. So I'm finding where your stress interferences are coming from, and then energetically
Mhm.
we resolve them so they don't come back, and so they don't cause physical issues in the body. But I'm on Instagram, christine.parker.rmt. I'm on Facebook, same thing. I got YouTube, TikTok, a website, Christine Parker RMT is my
Okay.
website.com. So if you Google Christine Parker RMT, you'll find me.
Okay. Awesome. And do you have any like exciting offers or promotions going on right now that people
I
can
have,
pop in
yeah.
on?
Yeah. So actually, if you go onto my website, there is all that breath work that we just talked about today. Not the subject object, but the central channel breathing, the four square breathing. There's another technique called the mortar march, which is on my website under resources. They're totally free. You can go check those out at any time. And then if you want to deep dive further into stuff and actually get some coaching and treatments, I have a program called Best in Breathing. It's currently $444 and it goes up at the end of the month, which is coming up soon. So
Get in on that, guys.
if you're
Uh,
interested in that, just give me a call. We'll have a chat and see if it's right for you.
awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this on a Sunday. This is so much fun. And I know that everybody who watches this is going to walk away feeling a little bit lighter, or knowing how to make themselves a little bit lighter when they get into interactions that make them want to scream. So, thank you for your time today.
Thank
And
you
I'm
so much
sure
for having
that,
me.
yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. I'll have to do this again.
And if anybody has any questions, just drop them in the comments below and I'll respond if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday.
Thanks. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.